We have some of the who's who of data center here, Narendra, Surajit. If you read anything about data centers in news, media, you will find these two names everywhere almost. So pleasure and honor to be with you here today. And we have CTO of ELCOT. You were here in the lamp lighting ceremony, so I think everybody knows about you. I'll possibly start question from Narendra and then to Surajit. You may like to chip in from the policy perspective, from the government perspective, wherever you think there is relevant comment you would like to make. So, Narendra, when we talk about AI, is data center and AI synonymous now, or is AI still only a part of data center? How near, how far is it? Is the capex difference between AI and conventional cloud data center, is it very high? And Surajit, how do you see this as an asset class of future from investors' perspective?
Thank you. Hello. Can you hear me? Yeah, it's working now. So yeah, good morning, everyone. AI data center is, so already started investing a lot of energy, time, so AI is different. Like you can consider Ford versus Tesla. So Ford is 60 years old, technology. So we consider here in this same example that general purpose compute versus accelerated computing is different, and it's required a different architect to host. The cooling demand has changed. The liquid is now in the floor. Liquid cooling is in the floor. So a lot of components got changed. 10 kilowatt density to 80 kilowatt or 150 kilowatt and beyond 600 kilowatt, what we heard basis on the NVIDIA products. So the entire thought process has to be changed, and this is more denser compared to earlier general purpose compute. And same time, that's very challenging because you need to be sustainable for the same time when you adopt this power hungry AI compute power. So in our opinion, or what we are doing, I can tell you, so you can relate. In 30,000 square feet, we are building 15 megawatt today. We can go 20 megawatt as well. The PUE, because of the liquid, they're reduced to 1.2. The cooling infrastructure, we call it liquid and direct to chip and immersion. So immersion is like, it will take some more time, another 2 to 3 years. But direct to chip is very advanced and adopted by all and supported by all ODMs and OEMs. So right now, if you talk about GB200 or GB300, which require 120 kilowatt of per rack density, and that is mostly required coolant, and it doesn't require a lot of water, because the water is another scarcity. Look at the Chennai's temperature across India. It's a hot, humid climate, and I think all data centers has to, if they want to go in this direction, they have to adopt liquid cooling. Without liquid cooling, it will not work, because the failure rate of machines, especially GPU, is 12 to 15% if you buy the air-cooled servers. And these servers are $300,000, like a 2 to 3 crore rupees worth. One server is 10 kilowatt. Imagine that, 8 servers in one rack, 80 kilowatt goes into it. If fails, imagine the investment and the things will go with the customer side. So it's it's a beyond real estate now. If you really want to take this and this Surajit's question around the asset class, this is a high yield asset class, and it is not going anywhere. Once the customers stick to it, it will never go, because the training, inferencing is continuous demand. And as India, we are a billion people compared to US. Look at the US Stargate project, $500 billion they are putting in Dallas. And why they went to out of the home market like Virginia, they moved to Dallas because of the power. So it's not a fiber anymore, or data driven or fiber driven decision making. It's a power. Power is equal to oil. So wherever the power is there, this data center will be more sustainable and more reliable. And it is going to be, because scalability is again another big challenge in the AI. Today, one customer asks, okay, I want 5 megawatt. Then they will ask you 50 megawatt in the same campus in another 3 months. Look at the OpenAI numbers. the Ghibli, one change in their technology or image generation increase the workload. They are spending $5 billion per hyperscalers. Imagine the compute power required AI. Yeah, so it's a huge, humongous, and India has the opportunity to leverage this because we have population consumers for AI inferencing, and we believe that as a data center as a whole, as an industry, we can deploy more than 2 to 3 gigawatt in coming 5 to 7 years down the line.
Great.
Yeah, thanks.
And one very, very important, I would say, takeaway, a bullet from what you said, is decision making top consideration has shifted from fiber to power. That's a very big change, right? So coming to Surajit about the asset class, how do you see that from an investor perspective? There are three aspects, I would say, which are central to this panel. One is AI, second is investor, and third is Chennai. And then, Sri, I would like to know from you, when you look at world, then you look at India, when you zoom into Chennai, Chennai and Mumbai are two most concentration zones, you know. So you would like to keep up that leadership for Chennai. What are you planning to do in the AI space from government and regulatory perspective to keep up that lead that you've achieved?
Sure.
Surajit and both of you. Any order?
Probably let me brief about ELCOT as such, and then I'll just move on to this topic. So ELCOT is having its own data center, and we are also responsible for laying out the policies as well. So we established our data center in 2011, and we are the first one to get ISO 2001 certified actually. And we are in the process of transitioning to move towards a AI-enabled data center as well. And in particular, in Chennai, we have a demographic advantage. We have sea marine cables, which is connected to 230 locations, and 30% of the internet traffic is coming towards Chennai. We want to get use of that advantage as such. And in terms of policies, Tamil Nadu has laid out a policy for data center in 2021, where there is a clear demarcation in terms of electricity and in terms of skill development, and then in terms of the land and policies as well. So in terms of land and policies, we are giving across 50% subsidy for the stamp duty as such. And in terms of electricity, we are giving 100% subsidy towards the electricity taxes as such. And we are enabling for the green energy as well. There is some sort of an subsidy for the green energy as well. So these are the measures that we have taken. And in addition, in terms of skill development, what we are also promoting is, if the incumbent employees are coming from MSME or skill development thing, we are promoting across somewhere around subsidy of somewhere around 10,000 rupees. These are the measures that we have taken. And one more thing, what we also want to ensure is, as we are moving towards AI enabled, it's a combination of technologies. How we see across is, it's not only the transactional based workload that's going to come across, where we need across some sort of an edge-based data center. Why we need edge-based data center is more and more IoT-based sensors will come into play eventually, where we need some sort of a regional processing as well. It's not kind of all the traffic should come towards our data center within Perungudi. It should be processed regionally actually. If the data doesn't need to come from somewhere in Kanyakumari and it doesn't reach out to Perungudi office, rather there should be some sort of a regional processing. Say for example, if I have built across some sort of an intelligent traffic-based systems, I will be just uploading. Gone are the days where we had transactional workloads with SQL data. Now it's more of a videos and images. For processing that loads, it doesn't need to come across somewhere here actually. It can be processed near thing, because there are some use cases which are coming to us actually. Because it's very heavier here actually. We are just moving towards some sort of an gateways actually, some sort of an IoT gateways. More and more if you have some sort of a regional data centers as such actually, probably within Chennai or Trichy or somewhere actually. So the more and more processing would be there actually. It's more from IP4 to IP6, we have to move towards it.
Right. Very well captured. So two things is, are you saying hyperscalers for Chennai and edge for Tamil Nadu in general? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Some sort of a regional processing that we need to move towards actually. Sure. The volume of traffic, because right now, if you see across, there are few more things that we want to accommodate as well, within state data center as well. One is as simple as that one, any data center, current or like in future,
Right.
3 pillars are like, it's very straightforward actually. One is availability, reliability and security. These are the 3 parameters only, like we are going to keep it as such actually. Only the scale in which we are going to operate is only going to change actually. Tomorrow it's going to be a kind of an analytical workloads as such.
Perfect.
So that Meteor tries like probably like once we see that one, like when we do the capacity planning for our state data center as such, so things were a little bit different probably 10 years back actually. Now we can't think about like this 1 or 2 years actually. We want to anticipate for the next 7 years or 10 years actually. So the scale in which like we are putting out our capacity planning as well, it will be like in par with what we are going to expect from for the next 10 years actually, because citizens right now might be uploading some sort of ration, or like they might be going to the PDS ration thing for doing some sort of a normal transactional processing. Way we are moving towards is like some sort of an intelligent processing where images, videos, some sort of a text also will be processed. Tomorrow like might be in a situation like where will be LLM for Tamil as well. Like if that's a case, the data that is getting ingested, like actually like the traffic that is getting ingested, like we are taking a bottom up approach. It's not only the GPU workloads that we are looking across, like we are taking it the bottom up as well.
Sure. Great. Thank you so much. Would like to hear from Surajit. And then I'll talk to you, Sri, about power aspect, the open access, the captive, the RE. That's very important because you already said that first consideration is not fiber anymore, power. You also talked about sustainability. So from that perspective, I'll come back to you to know about what steps you are planning for the power part of it.
Good morning, and it's always good to back to be in Chennai. We were not aware, ladies and gentlemen, that Sandeep was the moderator, otherwise we could have prepared. Narendra, I just spoke quickly. But anyway, I think great to be back here. I think Narendra started saying very right. I think AI is the buzzword. We're all talking, hearing about AI. As we talk, we learn, we see, investors are also doing the same thing. Probably every fortnight, Sandeep, I'm meeting one investor. And his first question is your data center AI enabled? I think that's the buzzword everybody's trying to understand. Pre-COVID, I think I was in an ASSOCHAM panel discussion. I said time has come, for us to now, let's rename the asset class called data center into a digital infrastructure. I think that's where we are headed to.
Yeah.
I think AI is on the brink to do that. Today we are implementing liquid cooling in one of our facilities in Mumbai.
Sure.
I'm surprised to see, and very happily surprised, that the rack density now is configured at 82 kilowatt to 100 kilowatt, and that's where it's moving to. So I think the infrastructure need to be on that. On that anvil, there is a little bit of hope as well as anxiety. The technology is moving very fast. CapEx is a concern. I think states, as gentleman said next to me, I think Chennai is adopting this very fast. As a state, from a policy advent of 2021, I think we are seeing power is very critical for AI deployment. While you adopt technology, while you adopt all kind of evolvement at a floor level, the power infrastructure continues to, causes a little bit of concern. Today, on an average, a 25-30 megawatt capacity draws about 100-120 megawatt of power, that to 2 sources of grid. I think, and it needs scalability. I think especially Chennai, which is getting ready for that kind of a power. So I think overall the sentiments are very bright. Investors are very keen to deploy AI in terms of how the technology will move. CapEx, yes, is a concern as of now, but I'm sure there would be models and structures around that. How do you move to it? And I think the adoptability from an end user is also being seen. Today, hyperscalers are clearly on that roadmap. Today, they want facilities to be completely AI-enabled infrastructure. Narendra was mentioning within 30,000 square feet, 15 megawatt. I mean, that's where we are, an era we are entering. I was with the Chief Minister of Maharashtra last week, and they're talking of creating a data center park. Now, that means that roughly about 1 gigawatt of capacity to be built in the next 2 to 3 years. I think the government machinery have understood this well. They're also very close now talking to various investors, platforms, to understand what the investors looking. We have already seen last 2 to 3 years private equity has entered this space.
Sure.
And there is a lot of more coming in. So overall it's bright. We need to be very agile. We need to be constantly ensure that on the ground the deployments are happening as per the scale.
Right.
And there's definitely a future to be seen.
Sure, great, fantastic, thanks. So one more question to you, Narendra and Surajit, because both of you keep talking to investors, like you said, every fortnight, every 10 days. Is there a lot of education you need to do to investors, or do you think investors are now more matured, more educated already about what a data center animal is?
I think they've crossed, I'm taking it first, I think they've crossed the first level of what is data center. I think by now they have understood, but obviously they need to know more about AI. They're also very inquisitively asking this question is that today AI has some specific domain customer base. Do you think it is going to scale in the next 2 to 3 years? And I think the answer is yes. Right. Today there are a lot of customers, Sandeep, that who have in their roadmap of next 3 to 5 years, they also have a journey to adopt AI. How that will eventually translate to them through an edge model, as sir was saying, that maybe regional edges. Now can they adopt under various cloud-enabled programs to give them, today liquid cooling is coming in capacity of 100 megawatt, 120 megawatt. These are core locations, tier 1 cities. How can a technology through various optimization can come to a regional kind of an edge? Because everybody is that. So much of workloads are coming, so much of rack densities are increasing. I think it is bound to happen. But coming back to the question, they are keen to know because globally this has got a lot of attention. And obviously India is also becoming a very important sector for them. So that keeps coming and asking.
Fantastic. Narendra, one more aspect. You have always been a pathfinder. You have always been one who has found blue oceans than coming to crowded red oceans, right? You are a tier 2, tier 3 man. So bring that aspect also when you talk about this.
Yeah, so I think we are a startup, and startup approach is always help to differentiate ourselves compared to the large conglomerate and the existing player. So our thought process is always how I can make it affordable, how I can make it accessible, how I can make it sustainable. And those questions I ask my team asks to the vendor partners, and we innovate. Like when we started building thinking about AI, we first thing what we have done is we started investing ourselves on building a liquid infrastructure. So we got patent on immersion cooling technology. We are building a cooling stack for direct to chip as well. And the cost of our deployment is for direct to chip is like one CDU when large electrical companies of the world charge 2.5 crore rupees for 1 megawatt. Our cost is 25 lakhs. Wow. So, and that's only possible to, startup approach where we partner with like a Shakti pumps, they generate motors, CDU what it contains, the motors, right? So we went there, we did the partnership with them, asked them like we want to build this, that, and IIT, we have got fantastic talent across India. Chennai has a, also good talent, IIT and all. So we reach out to these institutes and ask, we want to deliver this.
Very
Can
good.
you do that? So that's help us a lot. And tier 2, Indore, Raipur, we recently launched our AI data center park. So these state wants this pie, right? And nobody wants to go there. So they are also supporting with all the aspect of the power availability, bringing power to the site, cost optimization, benefit, incentives, policy. I'll give you an example. Raipur, we got land in 10 days, all permits in another 10 days.
Wow.
And they ask us, and what are the support they need, our team, like a temporary power connection, everything they have given plug and play.
Amazing.
And we are delivering in, I believe, because of this, we are able to deliver in 4 months, one site.
Fantastic.
So it's a PowerShell ready. The fitment is different.
Got it.
Yeah.
Just to add what Narendra said, this approach is a blend, what we need. We come as very large, or maybe players like us come very large, focused on core. Here comes players like them on edge.
Correct.
Now the ecosystem needs to build. How can we effectively work on this? Where core plus edge brings that closer to the end user.
Fantastic. Sir, you are sitting in the center of the two sides and this is what you said. So music to your ears possibly what they are saying. I would like to hear from you how you will enable, how you will encourage players like them to do hyperscalers in Chennai, edge in Tamil Nadu like you said. Also talking about the power, the captive, the RE sustainability targets that we have. What framework of policies, incentives, making it simple for data center operators you are trying to do in the coming time?
Yes, sir. As I mentioned earlier, like we have already laid out a data center policy in 2021. Like we are in the revision as well. Like actually, they can reach out to ELCOT as well, like to provide the feedbacks as well. So like we just demarcate into different sections actually. One in terms of a land, and other sections would be on the electrical, and third thing is would be on the skill development and thing actually. So in terms of electricity, like we are providing subsidy somewhere around 30%, and in terms of tax, like we are providing across somewhere around 100% actually. And in terms of location-wise, like we are spread across from Chennai south to Chennai north actually, from Siruseri to Ambattur actually, right. And from Ambattur to Sriperambuttur. Like we have a very broad location actually, sure, in terms of setting up the data centers as such. So having said so, and having the policies in place actually, like which will enable the data center investors as such to invest a lot actually. So like if there is some sort of a revisions, like you can reach out to ELCOT as such, like where like we would like it's in progress actually. When I say like it's not that like we have a rigid policy, like it's in hard and fast. We are like doing some sort of revisions as well.
I would like to add there. I think we have been working very closely with ELCOT and Guidance Bureau. I think they are the two pillars which carry those requisite to the government, sure, departments. I think they're very keen to know what's more. As he rightly mentioned, Tamil Nadu data center policy is likely to see some revisions very soon. And that is on the basis of a constant feedback operators are giving. What's working right on the ground, what's need improvement.
So that communication is working.
Yes, a constant dialogue happening between these stakeholders to understand
which
that
is great, yeah.
and because the state is very, very focused to draw not only investments, to also ensure that skill is developed, technology is getting adopted, and how we can create possibly more and more avenues for the sector to grow.
So that's a 360-degree
That's a 360-degree completely approach.
Yeah.
So we are looking for a feedback loop. Like it's not like what are the policies that has been laid out in 2021. Like it's so strong and rigid actually. Right. So we have to revise as per like what is going to come for the AI investment as such. Actually, we are waiting for the investors.
Great, fantastic. Maybe one quick question before we are squeezed for time, but before we go for question answers, I'm tempted to ask at least one last question. So let's say 3 years back and more for you. 3 years ago, when you thought about designing and building a data center, there was a state of mind, there was a way of thinking. And today, is it you predominantly think of AI? Do you design data centers fully keeping AI only in mind, or do you have some kind of partial AI ready which could be retrofitted or which could have flexibility, agility to, so it's a very difficult decision to make when you're designing a new data center. Is it 100% AI only? Then if it is AI, then is it for 80, is it for 150? Because God alone knows where is it going to end, right? If it was 5 kilowatt to 80 kilowatt in 3-4 years, then what if tomorrow it will be 150 kilowatt?
So I'll take this first because we changed the entire direction of our company's purpose-built AI platform. So the entire data center approach we have changed. We are not serving general purpose. Maybe some what AI workload required general purpose, maybe 2% or 10%, not more than that. So the entire, and we have taken this lead because we have to integrate vertically our cloud platform as well on top of it. So we are no more dependent on the external customers who just want a co-location. So as I mentioned, AI is more than the real estate, more than the co-location. It's like you have to have understanding of running and operating the bare metals, the machines which is coming. If you don't know that, it is very difficult. So you have a managed services team which handles these machines. So vertical integration was required. And as our company and nature of our company, we are doing it from last 5 years, managing the bare metals and everything. So we know that how to keep cool these machines and how to maintain and manage it. So the entire vertical integration is required to focus on AI infrastructure. So like in Indore, Raipur, now we are coming in Navi Mumbai, JNPT. So we are strategically choosing the location. why not Navi Mumbai versus JNPT, which is a new area?
Right.
You know? So how we can enable in that area? Like earlier we were doing in Chennai, long back, to 2019, 2020, somehow some setback happened. But we chose Sri Perumbudur versus going in the main hubs. Because we always, it's 10, 20 years ahead you have to think that what will change.
So right. Yeah.
Right, so that's our approach as our platform has taken like full, and it's very conscious decision. And same time, the real estate doesn't require, like in Navi Mumbai, the same playbook, copy paste, same design, 30,000 horizontal build, 6-meter height, high dense, 2,500 kg,
yeah.
just copy paste and pre-engineer building. So many, even our investor asked that is anybody has built a warehouse or cold storage kind of architect? I said not in India, but they will definitely build. We don't need it. So that's how we decided, and we have belief on this category because after talking with our customers in US, so new category emerge out of that. It is not traditional hyperscalers. The AI hyperscalers enter into the business, which is AI cloud providers, and those are very easy. We talk in their language because they are new, we are also new,
right.
And we understand, they also understand. So we started getting good demand, like, sizable demand, and they don't care about location. So that's, we should not be in the main location. So it fits in our business model.
So you simplify, standardize, and in a lighter vein, 3D print the data centers, right?
Yeah.
For us, I think, Sandeep, it has been very hybrid. When we get into 3 years before, 4 years before, market was moving at a very fast rate. Somewhere AI was there at the back of the mind. What we were trying to achieve, that through our design architecture, how can we be modular? We are building facilities of 100, 150 megawatts. India still consumes so much of cloud deployments, right? There's so much of cloud still going in, So that possibly clicked well for us. Today, when a customer comes in at a much later stage and wants to deploy maybe one floor of AI and wants a liquid cooling to be thing, can your design architecture do that? That's where you need to focus. And that's thing where the large operators are focusing there, because the customer mix is also changing. As he rightly Narendra said, today Navi Mumbai belt is getting very saturated in terms of infrastructure available.
Correct.
Here comes the new corridors like a JNPT or a Taloja or a Bhiwandi.
Right. And you refresh the whole thing. Yeah.
For example, in case of Chennai also, Ambattur has always been the first industrial belt for us. Then came Siruseri, SIPCOT, I think the infrastructure also is growing as technology is evolving. So I think whenever, and my possible advice to everybody, new players, is that always have an hybrid approach because that works well in a country like India, because there will always be the base being very large, all kind of customers. The banking insurance sector is growing very fast. Today they have started thinking and talking of liquid cooling. They want their floors to be tier 4 rated minimum. They have also started talking that language. What's your kg Newton floor, this thing. I mean, I never heard a bank talking like this, So I think that would help for the next 5 years journey as we pass through.
And the change is so fast that you somehow have to make your designs adaptable for an unknown, right? Because the change is beyond what you can envisage. And we have seen that over the years again. You envisage something, you anticipate, and the change is beyond that. So today when you design a data center, you have to anticipate for unknown change, right?
There is a shift there also, and it's a very good point you've raised. I think today also what's happening possibly for players like SaaS, today our ecosystem is also very mature. We work very closely with our global partners, Schneider.
Sure.
There's a lot of discussion on the table with them also, what they are seeing.
Correct.
How do they think where it is headed? If I have to design a data center, let's say in 2028, how does it look like? They have a global reach, they have a global experience,
Correct.
they're talking to So I think the ecosystem is also getting very matured in terms of understanding. It's more of a workshop, trying to understand what's working right, what's working not right, has it worked right?
Transform your vendors
Very
into
important,
advisors and work with them. Yeah.
Yes.
So, anything you would like to add, sir, before we go for question answers?
No, sir. Like we are open. Like you can reach out to ELCOT for any feedback message.
Thank you so much. We over to audience for question answers if you have any. Yes, sir.
I have a question related to the capacity building for this kind of a growth in the
Thank you for asking this question. I think it is on the mind of everybody now these days. I think talent, the way the growth this sector is seeing, the skill talent is getting little now difficult. So I think most of the larger operators have now started talking to the various platforms like CII, NASSCOM to understand how they can connect with various institutes to tie up, maybe recruit engineers fresh, train them for a year, electrical, mechanical, other sectors, and put them into projects. It would be needed. I think the kind of capacity, pre-COVID India was at roughly about 300, 350 megawatt. As we speak today, we're 1.2 gigawatt. It's by 2026 end, it is expected to be about 1.6, 1.8, right? The way supply is increasing, because demand comes, quite a lot of demand comes very sudden. And today in India, it still takes from a land acquisition to a go live, it takes about 30, 31 months roughly to build. Having said that, these are well known now. So I think efforts have started, probably in this year, couple of years down the line. There will be a lot of initiatives taken how to enhance skill, how to add more skill, because that is needed as the sector is growing. I think with the mic.
Hi, sir. This is Shweta from Cushman & Wakefield. I have two questions specific to AI.
Please have a seat.
Yeah, thank you. As you rightly said that we are currently at around 1.2 gigawatt. The first question which we have been discussing often in the fraternity is what is the disruption AI potentially can cause as far as this entire space is concerned, because every number is getting discussed. So what is industry's take on the rate at which it can potentially grow on account of AI-led disruption in the next 5 years? And my second question is that, as Narendra sir said, that it is location agnostic, and we have seen most of the focus till now has been in the tier 1 hubs. How the tier 2 or tier 3 cities can benefit from the AI-led disruption, if you can throw some light.
I'll take the first question, second question first. I think predominantly, traditionally, tier 1 markets have always played. That's where larger capacities have built. I think Narendra very clearly said that from his perspective, new markets, edge markets, and you will see a lot of edge coming up, in the next 2 to 3 years. But having said that, let me now say there is a new market which opens up, let's say, eastern part of the country, which is Kolkata. Now, I'm sure you guys have heard, right? And because there's a cable landing coming in Kolkata. I think my personal view to this is that the next 3 to 5 years, you will see new corridors getting opened. Every state, beyond a point of time, will get saturated in terms of expansion. While most of the states have drawn down their plans, but it will be an ideal hybrid mix. To your first question, what would be that surge? Honestly, it's all still on the board. Industry is somewhere growing at a CAGR of about 26, 28%. Some says we touch 40 plus. So I think deployment will drive that behavior. Investment will drive that behavior. Next couple of years, there will be a lot of investments and announcements happening in this space in terms of technology, in terms of new location, in terms of AI embedded infrastructures. That will give us some direction where it is headed. Today, most of the players are getting ready to create their supply for the next 2 to 3 years. You're seeing a lot of builds happening across the country. That's largely to furnish the capacity which is likely to hit by 2026 and 2027. How does that beyond 2030 it will look? I think we need to wait and see how the trend. Today is most of a guesstimate we have now, but I think certain trends will drive the investment behavior towards that.
Thank you, sir.
So I think as this AI-focused industry is power-hungry, power-driven, and more sustainability required. So I think workload, imagine that you are sitting in central India. If you draw 10 millisecond, like 1 millisecond is 100 miles. So 10 millisecond draw. So you will cover at least 60 to 70% population. Because India is not like a US where it's a 3 time zone difference. So what I believe that we need only 4 or 5 pockets to build the inferencing network or edge network, what we call it. And all the use cases which we see today in India, less than 10 millisecond, everything is solvable. We are not talking about real-time virtual machine or construction sitting in home and doing the construction today. This will come in another 5-7 years down the line because the industry is yet to matured in that direction. So that's I think wherever the power and the support is there, it's all about power. Now we need to think the next thing is, can we go net zero? Because that is going to be equally important. Can we go off-grid? Because imagine the situation of war. The first attack will happen on the data center. Sorry, I'm just using these kind of angle, but this is how I think. And our entire digital economy is dependent on this data centers. So we have to be very conscious on choosing the locations and the build. And all the aspects we have to consider. The seismic zone, we are choosing only two seismic zone, 2 or 3 between, not more than that. Because today we are talking this. Now what happened in another 5-7 years? One small change disrupt the entire digital economy of the country.
So we have to anticipate and do not exactly what we've been doing, but
yes, it's a continuous change. Skills, your question around the skill, yes. As an industry, academia has to be partner, because right now what we are doing, acquiring people from all our partners, vendors, team, electrical, mechanical, and grooming them. So it's not good for supply chain, right? So we have to generate new talent, build new talent, and we have taken the partnership with the local universities and the student, MEP student, and started training them. And it's also lower cost compared to like what we have seen the packages like 50 to 1 crore to 2 crore kind of range for senior leadership. But you need fresh mind. They will bring the fresh approach and to any platform or any industry, not only the data center. So I think as an industry, we should focus more on that side as well.